Alright, what's up dudes? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I posted a long form video, and I know that, but this is what happens. I get stuck in a cycle of making just shorts because they're easy and quick to make. So then if you're not watching the shorts, you miss what's going on. So today, this video, we're gonna walk you through everything that we've been doing with this car. It's my 1973 Cadillac Hearse, and we put a 6.0 LS in it, and we're gonna walk you through kind of everything that's been going on, everything that's changed, show some of the upgrades, show some of the stuff that we've done to try to get ready, because LS Fest Texas is this weekend, May 19th and 20th. I don't know if I'll break this up into one video or two videos to make one before and one after we go to the show. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. So you may or may not have already seen the show before you see this, but that's what we're doing. So we'll start with the most obvious. First and foremost, we cut a hole in the hood for the intake, and it could have been prettier, but this is what we did. And we still got to do a little bit of trimming right there for the wiring harness, but this is what we did. We may use some of this sheet aluminum to build a scoop so it doesn't look so basic and kind of just goofy with that square hole. But we don't know that yet. Right now, this is what we got. And this hole didn't actually have to get cut because only the bracing was interfering with this. So I'm putting this piece back. We've got it saved, and we're gonna put that piece back, but I really wish we would have paid attention. That was just stupidity on my part there. And then we also have our name stickers. And this car is named the Grave Robber, and that's just kind of where that came from. I've got a guy that I've been doing business with for a while up in Indiana who does cartoon drawings for drag cars, and I kind of went with Grave Robber first, and he drew a picture. But that's where we came up with the name. But that's where we're at on that. We got the decals on, and we got the hole cut. And then, if you walk around here, another thing that we did, which is pretty dope if you ask me, is we replaced the old grungy, nasty looking blue curtains with these nice red ones. And it's kind of, you can see me, the window's too clean, it's reflecting, but it's like wine red, and that's pretty thick. And then we also got all of our sponsor decals. So all of these companies, I reached out and they were all cool with sponsoring this to kind of help me get the car ready, except this. He just more or less thought that was funny, and he's a welder. He's a buddy of mine. All right, we got the hood off. So here's where we're at. The motor mounts are just kind of sitting there. I've just got to bolt through them, but these are just some BS mounts that I kind of threw together to put on here. I just built them out of extra scrap iron, basically, that I had on both sides. This is not the belt for this. This is a belt I was just trying. These headers are the headers that were on it. They're called block huggers. They're just cheap, like $100 headers. And then I built, I don't know if you can see that down there, but I built the 90 coming off and 2.5 inch back to the mufflers. And then I did 3 inch from the mufflers out. The wiring was a harness that I got from a friend of mine that was already semi-built. You can see it's got all the wires labeled. I've got the fuel pump wire already loomed up and stuff. But this is the fuse box and the relays. It's got one primary power relay, and then it's got one fuel pump relay, and then I'll have a fan relay here also. And then one of these wires will trigger that relay to run the fans when I get them put on. But I just mounted that here. I don't know what brand this stuff is. It was all kind of already on the harness and halfway started when I started. But you can see I've just got the computer just laying down in there. I'm gonna figure out a better way to mount that. Fuse box is mounted here. All of my power wires and stuff are ran with the headlight harness over to the battery there. Harness is just kind of thrown together on this side. I'm going to make that nicer on this side. I kind of tucked the harness back behind the fuel rail and stuff, so we kind of had a cleaner look on this side. But there's that. I got the plug wires on. Now, when we started this, I had pulled basically the whole top half of the motor off, And so this was just a short block that was in here. There was no heads, there was no intake, no valve covers, no valve train, nothing. And I had to put all of this back on it since I got this back. As you can see, the car's pretty rusty. It's not really worth restoring and making nice. And I kind of just leaned into that. I kind of just took the easy route, doing a lot of this stuff, which leads me to the interior. You'll see what I'm talking about. So the interior is not great. The door panels and stuff are good, but the floors were rusted out, and I kind of had to build them back. And I didn't take the time to get a good tunnel or anything like that. I just took sheet metal that I had, covered the holes, built me a real crude tunnel on both sides, and patched everything in. And then I'm just gonna seam seal it and put carpet over it. It's not gonna be anything super nice. It's got quite a bit of rust on it, but it's not crazy falling apart. This is a B&M shifter with the pull handle for the reverse. I've got all of that hooked up. I got a new cable put on it, and that goes to a Turbo 400 that was in it before. I'm not gonna crawl into the car right now, but you can see it's just a old dirty, supposedly rebuilt Turbo 400 that was fresh. And that's the drivetrain, just a 3-speed 400. I don't know anything about the rear end. I was gonna start looking at that today, but I got stuck into the fuel tank. I got the fuel tank put back in it. I've got the hoses hooked up. I'm just waiting on my fuel injection clamps that'll be here tomorrow. I'm gonna get all that hooked up. Fuel pump is mounted. I gotta rewire it because I mounted it in a different position than what that one was, so I gotta extend the wires a little bit and get those put on. So the fuel system has a return, a vent, and a feed. So it's already set up like it needs to be for the fuel injection stuff. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else, that we've done. Stuff on this car just kind of works. Like when we hooked up the battery, I figured out what wires needed to feed the interior fuse panel. Like 3 of them. I hooked them all together and hooked them to the other side of the starter so they can get their power from the starter, from the main power. And then I ran this one to the power side to the starter, and that goes straight to the battery. I got some grounds tied in here, and then I've got my power wire that feeds my fuse box. It's pretty small, but I think it'll do the trick. So far it seems to be okay. If it's not, then I'll just double that up, or I'll go up to a bigger size for that. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, okay, so things I need to do before this weekend. The harness grounds, I haven't hooked up any of the harness grounds to the motor, except for these. And those are mostly just the relays grounds. So I still need to hook up like the coil grounds and all the other little grounds that are on the harness. I need to run a ground from the motor to the frame. I need to run trans lines. My hoses will be here for that. I'm just going to run soft lines up, and I'm going to hang a trans cooler right here in front of the radiator. I also need to mount the radiator. I lost the factory mounts, so I got to build some, of course, because that's what I do. And then I need to get a thermostat housing for an LS. I have one here, but it doesn't fit. It's this one, and those don't go in. So I don't know. I may just trim this off here and then use that one because the bolt pattern is right. This just won't go inside the water pump. So we'll see. I might just cut that off, but we'll see what I decide to do on that. And then I need a power steering pump. I'm not going to run power steering. I'm just going to use it like an idler for the accessory drive, maybe, because the belt that I have almost fits, so I may just get a little bit longer belt and see if I can make it work without it. But either way, I'll do one or the other on that. And then I've got the shifter and stuff in. I've got carpet and stuff coming. I'm just going to throw the carpet over and mount the seat. Then the interior will be done. I need to throw my clamps on the fuel system. That will be done. I need to wire up the alternator. I need to get the O2 sensors in and hooked up. I've already got the bungs welded. I've just got to put them in and get them plugged into the harness. I don't really have a lot left. And then the tune's going to be the main thing. I've got a buddy of mine coming to help me with that. I've already got my unlocked computer and I've got HP tuner, so he's just going to come over and kind of pass on some knowledge for me to do that. But yeah, you can see I'm pretty close to first startup. She's still cool looking. I got it all jacked up in the back end right now because I was working on the fuel system. But she's getting pretty close. I got to work on the hood and put that little piece of metal back, like I said. But yeah, she's getting pretty close. The brakes are fixed. That's something else that I did. So I just pinched off the back brakes because I didn't want to even deal with the back brakes. I didn't have time. So I only have front brakes right now, which makes doing burnouts handy. And then I completely cleaned out the master cylinder. I blew out all the lines, and we had one line that broke when we were taking it off. So you can see that new line right there runs across there and over to that. I had to replace that one line, and then I also put new rubber hoses that go from here to the caliper, and we bled them. They're working. Shifter's working. So like, we're super close, man. Watch for shorts, because I post shorts almost every day. Usually once a day, sometimes twice a day, but at least, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, I'll post some shorts and updating this, and then, I don't know, follow along, hit the subscribe button. All right, y'all. So we've officially reached the last day where everything that can goes wrong. So I had it running. All I had to do was upload the tune. I still had the same ECU and everything that the tune was for. I didn't have to copy anything or anything. I just had to upload it. And my HP tuners did something weird, and now that computer is not responding. So I've still got the tune. I'll have to copy it onto a new tune file for a different computer that I have, and then hope that it will write. The seat, I went to mount the seat back, and the shifter is in the way. So now the seat has to be moved back 2 inches, and the floor is so rusty, that's the only spot where it can bolt. So now I'm having to weld onto the brackets for the seat to extend them forward like 2 inches. What else? My wiring harness fuse block started acting funny. I don't know if I've got a bad ground or what's going on there, so I can't even wire my fans until I figure out the wiring harness. And we are like 17 hours from having to be at the show. So hopefully I can get this buttoned up and knocked out and put together. If not, it's gonna be a piece of crap that's barely holding on to itself. And that's how it's going to the show. Because I've still got to get the seat mounted, get the carpet and stuff all sorted. It's not really carpet, it's like felt, just something to cover the floor. I need to test drive it, top off all the fluids, and test drive it, make sure everything's working, get it loaded, and then head that way with the trailer in the morning. So, who knows? But good news is, I did get the throttle cable hooked up. You can see the bracket for that. It's here, a little weird bracket that I built, and it's using a Chevy S10 throttle cable. I got the radiator mounted, just handy little bracket that we busted out. I've got my accessory drive on. I figured out a way to make that work. I measured my belt, and hopefully that will work like it is. So I've got to wire the alternator, wire the fans, get the seat mounted, test drive it, get it loaded, fix any vacuum leaks that we have, because I know I've got a few, and then top off the fluids, and then I guess we're ready to go after I get the interior and stuff put back together. So I know I'm rambling, I'm tired, dude. I've been at it all day up here with this thing, And it's just coming down to the wire. A little stressful, but we'll get it knocked out. Hello everybody, here we are. Today is Friday, the 19th, first day of LS Fest. And if you look right there through that window, you'll see we got the car finished-ish. It still don't run great. It still needs a little bit of tuning. Got to hook up some vacuum lines to the transmission on the way to the show so it'll shift. But for the most part, we got her done. We drove it around town. We drove it up on the trailer. We're going to drive it off of the trailer. And it should be a fun time. So enjoy the rest of this video showing you what LS Fest Texas has to offer. We made it about 10 miles to Grace Baptist Church in Grandview. And the trailer was whipping like crazy. So I don't know what's really going on, but that tire only had 32 pounds of air in it. So we're hoping that's what it was. But not really sure. We're about to check all the tires. That one looks low too. So get these bad boys aired up and we're gonna jump back on the road. Then we have to stop in Alvarado to get a vacuum tee and some vacuum lines so that we can hook up the modulator valve so that this will shift because it's stuck in first gear. We have one of those. Yep. So what we're doing, you just missed it. We were riding the scooter around, but it's dead now. We got to work on it when we get there. That's what we do. Guys, listen, we made it. We're here. This is LS Fest. This is the participant parking, so we made it. Can't say we didn't make it, but this piece of shit won't stay running long enough for us to make it in there. It like starts, after it runs for a little while, it starts like bogging and like coughing and sputtering, and I don't know if it's an O2 sensor issue. I mean, it's pretty sure it's got something to do with the tuner, and I'm not real sure the alternator's charging. So we're gonna try to put a real hot charge in the battery and then haul ass to get there, to get inside there. We've already got a bunch of compliments, people taking our pictures, so everyone loves it. It just turned out to be a piece of crap. Who knows, maybe we'll make it, maybe we won't. All right, y'all, so we officially made it. The hearse is right there. Made it in. Car ran perfect. Choppy. Sounded kind of like that. No, it didn't sound that good. It sounded pretty good, though. And now we're going, walking around looking at stuff.
I think of Chargers or Challengers in purple. And
I like purple, green, and black, like the Joker.
I mean, I do like that. That's cool. But I'd go blue for Jerry.
Joe, look at that El Camino.
That's a lot of money to be stupid.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, I got room right here.
You
want me to hold it for you? Go get your car.
I'll stand there. Just look with your eyes, baby.
Savage. Stinky Pickle Racing.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Success. The hearse finally made it to its very first show. Can't zoom. We hammered on this thing for 3 weeks. Thank you to the sponsors that helped us out to get here. Excursions Unlimited, Crease Epoxy, and B3 Against Bullying with Certified Hustler. Thank y'all very much. Couldn't have done this without y'all. If you or anybody you know wants another sponsorship opportunity, we're always building stuff. We're always getting ready for shows. We got this one close. Now we just got to figure out the little kinks and work all the bugs out and get it to where it'll go where we want it to go, how fast we want it to get there. But yeah, that was a bucket list. And we knocked it out. Had a success. Made it to LS Fest Texas 2023 in a Cadillac Hearse with a 6.0 LS in it. Everybody loved it. Look for pictures. Watch for videos. A bunch of people got them. Until next time, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button.